To learn, adapt, overcome, and discover is a key aspect of our human nature. Without the desire to learn new things, mankind would hardly have progressed from our primitive stages. Though our modern-day triumphs and findings are much more random in subject and not quite so survival-orientated, they remain important and intriguing nonetheless. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 recent discoveries. The treasure chest revealing clues to Thutmose II's lost tomb. An unbelievable discovery has been made at one of the largest archaeological sites in Egypt, Deir el-Bahari. Archaeologists uncovered a buried stone chest holding some interesting items which could date back to over 3,500 years ago. The individuals credited with its discovery were from the University of Warsaw's Institute of Archaeology from Poland, with Professor Andrzej Nowinski leading the investigation efforts. It is believed that this discovery can lead us to the lost tomb of Pharaoh Thutmose II. Deir el-Bahari is a site near Luxor and Karnak, 2 other successful excavation sites, and is a remarkable complex of monuments and tombs meant for ancient Egyptian nobility and royalty. The tomb of Hatshepsut lays there, and the Polish archaeologists have been working tirelessly on this site for the past 60 years. The chest was discovered by sheer luck, found in a pile of heavy debris which resembled nothing more than another segment of an ancient building's wall. Professor Nowinski, when interviewed by the media, explained that it was only after they gave the debris a closer look that they realized what it was, a chest, intact and full of archaeological treasures. The chest measures 40 centimeters in width and length. All the items found inside the chest were wrapped in bundles of linen canvas to protect them. 3 vital items were found. There was a skeleton of a goose. Historians have since hypothesized that it was sacrificed for religious purposes. The second item was an egg of the goose, potentially representing the life contrasting the departure from life symbolized by the goose. And finally, the egg of an ibis bird. In ancient Egypt, the ibis bird held immense spiritual value, much like the cat. Next to the stone chest, there was something else wrapped in a bundle of linen, a wooden box with the name Pharaoh Thutmose II engraved on it. The box was in the shape of an ancient Egyptian mortuary chapel. The items and wooden box all pointed towards it belonging to a member of the royal family for certain. Professor Nowinski shared his thoughts, claiming that the royal deposit indicates that a temple or a tomb was being raised in the pharaoh's name. The evidence steers this theory due to the fact that the site is in the middle of a royal cemetery. The likelihood of it having been a tomb is immensely high. The found boxes suggest that there was indeed a time when the pharaoh was buried at this site, though whether he is still hidden somewhere deep around the area or if at some point in antiquity his body had been moved elsewhere is unknown, as the tomb of Thutmose II has been deemed lost for thousands of years. The pharaoh himself was only in control of Egypt for a mere 3 years, from 1476 to 1479 BCE, and was recorded to have passed away at the age of just 16. When he was alive, he was married to his sister, Hatshepsut. Though incest in the bloodline of Egyptian royals was considered normal at the time, and often was only done to keep the power within the family for political reasons. However, the young pharaoh seemed to have been nothing short of a political puppet for his sister wife, who went on to rule over Egypt as one of its first female pharaohs, and her reign was regarded as powerful, prosperous, and great. As soon as the stone chest and wooden box were found, the team hurried to try and find the tomb of the lost king, believing it to be hidden in plain sight. Perhaps the eternal resting place of the pharaoh had caved in through the millennia and could be found with a little harder work and digging. The archaeologists involved believe they are incredibly close to discovering the tomb of Thutmose II, and if they prove to be successful in their quest, then this will mark one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of this century, if not the greatest discovery within the last millennium. This tomb would be completely untouched by the looters of the past and could give us a never-before-seen insight into what an authentic, untampered with royal tomb looked like and the truth into Egyptian burial rites. The last time an untouched tomb was found was that of the famous Tutankhamun, which had been abundant with treasures upon its discovery. A 1500-year-old Bible argues Jesus' fate. Christianity has broken into many sectors throughout the years, each adhering to their own moral codes and interpreting the Bible in different ways. Like any piece of literature, the Bible is indeed up to interpretation. However, it's hard to interpret a story when it was never told in the first place. According to the Ethnography Museum of Ankara, Turkey, a new version of the Bible believed to be 15 to 2,000 years old has resurfaced and caused upheaval to the Christian faith. This is because this Bible includes the Gospel of Barnabas. The story reveals that Jesus was never nailed to the cross, but he was also not the Son of God. This story insists that Jesus was only a prophet and that his fate was not crucifixion at all, but that he instead made it to heaven. However, the story of crucifixion is not completely lost. In this story, Judas Iscariot was believed to be nailed to the cross instead. This book came to light during a heist when a group of thieves attempted to smuggle highly valuable goods across the Mediterranean Sea. This version of the Bible is believed to be worth over $25 million, both for its shocking revelations and antiquity. It's no secret that the world of Christianity and the world of Islam have been at odds for years. However, this contention is largely based on how we as people should interpret Jesus' place in the Bible and thus honour him thereafter. Because this new biblical story reveals that Jesus quite possibly knew the Prophet Muhammad and foresaw his arrival, it can be said that if Christians do decide to honour this new gospel, then their teachings and belief systems might align differently. However, it is common practice of any church, but especially the Christian church, to pick and choose which stories they want to include in modern practice. It takes a keen scholarly eye to authenticate the true intent of Jesus' word at the conception of the Bible, but it takes only several elders of the church to manipulate the transcriptions to align with modern belief systems. While the Vatican remains highly interested in this new finding, it cannot be said whether the entirety of Christianity will change because of it. We do know one thing though. If this gospel stayed hidden from us for more than 1500 years, then it is reasonable to wonder what else is out there. New species of human discovered in a cave in the Philippines. The history of the human species is as equally rich and complex as any other species on Earth. While we Homo sapiens ended up being the only surviving examples of humans, there are many other species of humans that have existed over millennia. In 2019, the rich human species grew just a little bit larger thanks to the discovery made by a team in the Philippines. Homo luzonensis, the small human species, was found from a small collection of bones, including 7 examples of teeth. The discovery is the third of its kind on a Southeast Asian island to be host to a discovery towards the history of the human species. Armand Miyares, an archaeologist from the University of the Philippines Diliman and leader of the Luzonensis project, said, "For a long time, the Philippine Islands have been more or less left out." This, however, has shown to be the wrong way of thinking, and the island nation could be host to much more than scientists initially believed. Yasuki Keifu, a paleoanthropologist at Tokyo's National Museum of Nature and Science, also said, "This discovery highlights the remarkable diversity of archaic hominins once present in Asia, in a way beyond my expectation." For a long time, Asia's role in the history of the human species was considered to be well understood. Paleoanthropologists knew that ancient human species travelled across the continent to areas such as Indonesia by using land bridges to the more isolated and remote islands we know today. However, some areas were considered to be too difficult to cross for humans with rudimentary tools and no form of sailing or water travel. Luzon, where the new discovery was made, is one of these remote locations, far away from the mainland of Asia. It has never been connected by land bridges, so the belief was that study in the region would be pointless, with teams never digging deeper than 2 meters in the hope of discovering human materials. Researchers in 2004 blew that idea out of the water with their famous hobbit discovery, a short species of humans that lived on the Indonesian island of Flores up until 50,000 years ago. In later years, even more discoveries of human fragments were made. Excavations yielded part of a femur, as well as finger and toe bones and teeth, all belonging to 3 distinct human individuals. The ancient remains show a type of human with a unique mixture of ancient and modern characteristics. For example, the teeth are small and shaped much more similarly to those of modern-day humans, but one of the upper premolars found by the archaeologists has 3 roots, which is a characteristic present in less than 3% of the population today. Similarly, one of the uncovered foot bones shows a likeness to those belonging to the Australopithecines, an ancient group of human family relatives to which Lucy, the famous Australopithecus fossil, belongs to. Paleoanthropologist Michael Petraglia from the Max Planck Institute for the Science of Human History states that an artifact found back in one of the 2010 discoveries illustrates that the species of human present in the Philippines were hunters and toolmakers. When discussing the potentially new species of humans, Petraglia says, "If rhinos can swim and get to places, certainly we can think of that. Erectus, Tharesiensis, and Luzonensis not necessarily just swam, but at least rafting, if not boating. It's just pure speculation, but you could posit that and make some convincing arguments." Scientists are hopeful that Southeast Asia holds more fossils yet to be discovered, and that their understanding of human history could soon be expanded even further. But what do you make of these interesting discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.